Hey folks, welcome to the shop. Today we've got our Jwc Neutrino Lights, and this is how it is shipped straight to your door. So here we have it. We're going to take a look at some of this, what they include. They are a direct fit LED replacement for Outlanders and Renegades. So we have some brackets, some harnesses. It's all pretty well plug and play for the most part, and the actual housings themselves. Today we're going to be doing our Jwc Neutrino Lights. These are LED direct replacements for Renegades and Outlanders, your Gen 2 Renegades and Outlanders. So I'm really excited about this product. I love everything that I buy from Jwc. They're very professional. They handle customer service like I haven't seen in a long time. And it shows, like, even their packaging, when it comes to packaging their stuff, it's on point. The box is perfectly fit. It was shipped really well. And I just love their products. I don't owe them anything, and I just have to say that I'm super impressed with what they do. Proper instructions, all the hardware, everything's secure. I've seen these lights on and they are just amazing, so I'm really excited to get these on. First I'm going to read through the instructions because I think it might be important, and then we're going to start tearing out the old halogen bulbs. And we're going to carry on with this, but super excited, and we'll see how these turn out. So first things first, we're going to ignore how dirty my bike is, one step at a time. But we have to remove the actual wiring for the halogen bulbs, and once we have that done, we can start actually removing some of the hardware that's in here mounting the lights. And some of it is going to be reused according to the instructions, so what we're going to do is just make a little pile and carry on with all of it. But it shouldn't be too hard of a job. Just going to take my time. Nothing like a beer in the shop, eh? So it just wanted me to unplug the actual harness. So the white plug is my exterior high beam light, and the blue plug being the low beam light on the inside. Next I have these little screws here that I actually have to back out, and I should be able to pull the housings completely out of there. The only tricky part is I have a red halo running through here, so that's just an extra step for me, but it's not a big deal. But I'll pull these out, and we'll see what the next step is. So there you have it. There's 3 spring-loaded screws that actually hold and can adjust your light pods here. So I pulled those out. You have to be careful to actually catch the spring that's behind it. They're a bit annoying, but you can get them. So that's unplugged, and I just pulled the halos off, and I didn't break them. So might be able to use those somehow, maybe as like cheap rock lights or something. They're already wired, so why not? We'll figure something out with that. So those are off. A little filthy, eh? My neighbor needs one because he fell through the ice with his quad and broke some lights and stuff, so I'll find a home for those. And now the instructions wants us to build, I guess the low beams are going to have a bracket, but I'll know more in a bit. Okay, so 2 of them have to be different for the low beam. And what that means is you grab any one of the 4 according to the instructions, and there's a bracket. Now this bracket actually goes through the unit, and you'll see where it lines up. There's these little tabs that show you eventually where the orientations are going to go. Once you've got that on there, what you've got to do is you take these little Torx bolts, you slide them through to meet the bracket, and you start screwing it in. But the back 2, they actually have these black spacers here. So you're going to start bringing these in and getting all these pieces lined up and torque it down, not too tight or you'll probably snap these brackets. And these will be your low beams. So you're going to prep 2 of these guys, and the other 2 are going to be your high beams, and that'll make more sense later when you see what's going on. But so far I've got them all lined up and started. I'm going to tighten these down, make 2 of these because I already know the other side is going to need the same thing, and we'll carry on with that. So these are your low beams, the inner ones to your rad. So now that I've got this mounting plate on, I didn't break anything, which is a great start. You need to take your O-ring for the low beams, and that's actually going to sit over into a groove. There's a groove on the outside edge. Just put that in there and it'll look something like that. So now these are your low beams. I'm going to make 2 of these, and then the high beams are pretty well straightforward, but just make sure you've got this lined up. You don't over torque these, and just take your time. Don't use an impact. Use a little 1/4 inch or something like that. It's pretty easy to break this kind of stuff when you're torquing like that. So yeah, it's all about just taking your time, man. I'm gonna make another one of these and we'll carry on. Okay, so I just got off the phone with Trevor from Dirty Life, and I had some questions for him because things weren't fitting right. I have the first batch of these lights going out, so a lot of these issues I'm about to mention are actually already corrected. But for my specific bike and year, the way they worded it made it seem incorrect. So basically, what I've been talking about, this being a inner low beam, I was wrong, and I called Trevor and we sorted it out. The instructions are a little off, but those are corrected now. Like I said, this is actually my outer light, but it's still my low beam. I was just believing the instructions. I never actually put any thought into it, but my low beams are actually on the most outer side of the vehicle. So this is my low beam, and this bracket still goes on your low beam, but it's actually on the outside light. So if you run into that, which I really doubt you will, Jwc is on top of everything when it comes to correcting their stuff. So this is actually my outer light, still my low beam. So we're going to get to installing that now that these are ready, but I'm actually probably going to install the inner lights just because it would be easier to do it that way, just because things will start getting in the way of each other. So I'll do the inner ones first, which is actually just one of these units straight up with no bracket. So we'll get to doing that, and I'll show you how that turns out. Okay, part 1 is done. So now that I've got that sorted out, my low beam's on the outside, it has the bracket. The inner one is my high beam, and it doesn't have a bracket. So I just clipped them in there now, and these other clips here are actually for a white halo that's built in. What I'm probably going to do is actually use the wiring from my old halos and adapt them to the harness so that I can just plug them in like that and be good to go and be done with it. The instructions, if you don't already have wiring or you don't want to do it the way I'm doing it, the instructions give you a harness that just go to your 12-volt outlet. So you can do it that way too. But I'm just going to use the wiring that I already have done. So that's good. And these things, they're literally so bright that when I was looking at them, I went back to read something in the instructions and I couldn't see. Like, I don't even know how to, I don't even think the GoPro can handle the light output. Like, there's your regular lights. It's insane. Insane. So I'm going to be trying those out later on tonight. I decided not to go with the red tint because it ended up looking pink. And I could probably double layer it and all sorts of stuff, but I'm not going to get into it. I love these RGWCs the way they are, and it's going to be something. When I have the light bar and these going on, you're not going to want to be in front of me for sure. So there we have it. They're all the main part of the actual lights installed on both sides, and I have to say that yep, they're bright. There's no doubt about that. So now I just have to wire the second part because there's actually the halo inside it. And I'm going to use my original wiring from my old halos to install that because it's already there. Okay, so now we're doing the halos. I took their existing harness I'm going to do a little differently just because I already have wiring set up. I am making these little plugs. So they sent these plugs in a harness and I just cut them up. I put some new ends on it, some shrink wrap, and I'm going to adapt them to my pre-existing halo wires from before. So they're in there, they're the same gauge and everything like that, so that's good. And yeah, we're just going to use that instead, see how that works. That way it's nice and clean, the wiring's already there, save me some work, and try to keep it as professional as RJWC sells their products. So pretty happy with that. I think that'll work well. So as you can see, my wiring job, I still gotta finish the loom and some tape and stuff just to make sure it's all secure, zip tie it up, but just wanted to give it a quick test shot. So you can see the white halos on camera. It kind of looks like they're just lights, but yeah, the surrounding halo light is on there now. This side I haven't done yet. I broke that halo taking it off, but you can still see it's powering the halo on this side. But yeah, so those are wired onto my switch that I already had. So I'm just going to do that to the other side and wrap this up. Okay, so they're all in place. I wired in the halos. I just have to zip tie the wiring. But the way I did it was to my original halo switch. So again, even the halo on this is so bright that the backing light just looks like it's another light, but these things are really awesome looking. I'm glad I wired in the halos. They are sweet. But let's get these lights on. There's the low beam. There's the high beam. We'll try these out tonight, get a clip for you just to show you how bright they really are, but I mean, I think you get the idea. They are stupid bright. Okay folks, so I plowed the driveway and tried to buy some time. It's almost night there. In about 20-30 minutes it'll be as dark as it gets, but just to show you guys, we'll start with the halos. So they got a bit of a glow to them actually. The camera has a hard time picking up how bright these are. But just to give you an idea, here's the low beam. Oh shit. Low beam. High beam. I mean, it's insane how bright that is. That is crazy. Oh man, RJWC is something else, man, I'll tell you. Just give you another idea. Low beam, the camera had to adjust there. High beam. So that's it folks, that's the RJWC Neutrino Lights. We've got the bumper caps, we've got the exhaust, the billet cover, header, everything they make really we've got. So when they make a good product, they make a good product. So all right guys, we'll see you next time.